back to math. Got to get our minds back on fractions. So we had done 487, you said. Now we're on the back side of that page, 488. Perfect. Okay, so we have some fraction bars here, and we had started last week to talk about equivalent fractions. So I could say that if I have 3/3, it's the same as having 6/6, okay? But here they're saying shade an amount equivalent, and what does equivalent mean?
Equal.
Equal to. So shade an amount equivalent to 2/3 on this bottom bar. So grab your pencil. Is this equivalent to those 2/3? No. Do I need to keep coloring in more?
Yep.
Is that equivalent to 2/3?
No.
Am I there yet?
No.
Am I equivalent now?
No. Yes.
Okay, so what fraction of those sixths, what fraction did I shade in? What did you color in on yours? How many of those boxes? Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. And what's our denominator? How many equal parts are all of those split into?
2.
No, 6. So what's our fraction? 4/6. All right, look at problem 4. Shade an amount equivalent, what did we just say equivalent means?
Equal to.
4/8 on the bottom bar. Okay, so they've colored in 4/8. They have this bottom fraction bar split into 6 equal parts. How many of those do we need to color so that it's equivalent? Raylyn? Do you agree with Raylyn? We have to color 3 of these? All right, so what fraction did we shade on that fraction bar underneath it? 3/6. So 3/6 is equivalent to 4/8. Just like up here, 4/6 is equivalent to 2/3. They're equal to each other. All right, let's look at the connected. Number, what is that, 5? How are fraction bars, so these are fraction bars, and number lines, like these down here, how are they alike in showing equivalent fractions? How are those alike? What are they both? Like when they have number lines like this, or when we have fraction bars like this, how are they alike? What do you think?
I think they're like, it's kind of like the same, except like the fraction bars you color in, and the number lines you put the numbers on the line.
That makes sense, right? Okay, they're showing the same parts being divided up, right? Is this showing smaller parts being divided up just like the fraction bars do?
Yes.
Okay, but then also, is it showing the whole thing? Just like on this number line, 0 to 1. Would this be like 0 over here?
Yeah.
Would this be like 1 over here?
Yes.
Yeah. Are these all the different parts? Just like on that number line? Yeah. So we break it apart, or we could leave it as the whole thing. All right, so let's jump down to 6. Is 6 the last one on your paper?
Yes.
Okay. Label the number lines, then list any equivalent fractions. So let me get rid of this. I'm going to make this bigger. All right. Look at this number line here. All of them are 0 and 1, so 1 whole. How many parts did they split this top one into?
2.
1, 2. So if this is the fraction that we're labeling, what would it be?
1.
This is how many spots over? 1. Out of how many equal parts?
2.
2. So it is 1/2. Let's look at the fraction number line underneath it. Count the equal parts with me. 1, 2, 3. So what's our denominator, that bottom number?
3.
3. It's going to be 3 for both of those. What fraction is this one? 1 1/3. If I jump over another one, now it is 2/3. Okay, let's look at this bottom fraction number line. Count the equal parts with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What's our denominator, that bottom number?
6.
6. It's 6 for every single one of these because they are all broken into 6 parts. So what's the fraction for this first one?
1/6.
1/6. What's our next fraction, everybody?
2/6.
Then,
3/6.
then,
4/6.
next.
5/6.
Now let's compare these 3 number lines. Do you see any fractions that are equivalent, meaning they're right above, they're in the same line with each other? Does the 1/6 have an equivalent fraction? No. What about 2/6 down here? Is there anything above it that's equivalent with it? Natalia?
1/3.
Okay, so let's write that over here. 1/3. We're going to put an equal sign. Why would we put an equal sign? Connor?
Because they're equal to.
Yeah, they're equivalent. They're equal to each other. So 1/3 is equal to 2/6. Let's look down at this 3/6. Does it have an equivalent fraction? Is there one straight up from it? Haley?
1/2.
Yeah, 1/2 is equal to, what did we say?
3/6.
3/6. Are there any other equivalent fractions on here? Any that line up with each other perfectly? Raylyn? And what else? Right. 2/3 is equal to 4/6. Are there any other equivalent fractions, or did we find them all?
We found them all.
I agree. We found them all. All right. Go back to a smaller page here. Okay, so here they have number lines on the left, and over here on the right, they have those fraction bars. So they've split this first number line into 2 equal parts. The bottom one they have split into 4 equal parts. Let's look over next door at that model that they have there. How many equal parts in this first one?
1,
No, how many equal parts in it? 2. How many equal parts in this next one? 4. Just like our number lines, right? 2 equal parts, 4 equal parts. All right, so right here it says 1/2 and 2/4 are at the same place. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Just like what we did on that page before. They're lined up on the same place on that number line. So 1/2 is equivalent to 2/4. And what does equivalent mean again? Equal to. So if we look at these rectangles, they have the same amount of shading, right? 1/2 and 2/4. So again, they are equivalent. All right. So what you're going to do here is you're going to decide, are these equivalent? Are they equal amounts that are shaded in? Look at this first one. Color in yes or no if you think they are equivalent, the same amount. Think you got that one figured out?
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at this second one. Look carefully. Color in again the bubble for yes, they are equivalent, or no, they are not equivalent. Flip your paper over. Now what you're going to do, you're going to use these two number lines to help you identify the equivalent fractions in problems 2 and 3. So for 2, it says 2/6 equals, find 2/6 on the number line. Point to it on your number line. Now look above there. Do you see the fraction that is equivalent to 2/6?
Yeah.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Write that fraction down. Write the fraction that is equivalent to 2/6. And then do the same thing for 2/3. This time they're having you look up here. Now look down below and write the fraction that's equal to it. Got it? Let's look at problem 4. Oh, sorry, friends. Problem 4. What shape do they give us here? Hexagons. Okay. So if we look at the fractions shown by the shaded hexagons, we're going to write equivalent fractions for the shaded parts. Okay. So count with me here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many parts in the whole thing?
6.
Is that our numerator or our denominator?
Denominator.
Okay. Now, how many parts of that one are shaded? Create that fraction over here on the left to go with this hexagon. Hands on your hips when you have that fraction created for this hexagon. Okay, if we look over at this next hexagon, it's not split into the same number of parts, is it? Count with me how many parts it has. 1, 2, 3. So our denominator is different this time, isn't it? Go ahead and write the fraction here that goes with that hexagon. Put how many parts are shaded as your numerator. Okay, part 5. Shade how much
6/8.
of rectangle A? Do that right now. Then shade rectangle B to show a fraction equivalent to 6/8. So look over and see how much you need to shade in to make it exactly the same. You can't add any lines. So think about how you need to color it in to be able to show that they are equivalent. And then write the fraction, that equivalent fraction, whoops, I didn't mean to move that. Write the equivalent fraction for B on that line down there. Make sure your name is on that paper. I'm just picking the one up that you did on your own. We went over it, we read it together, but you did all the work independently. All right, now, do we have one more paper?
Yes.
Okay. So more about equivalent fractions. Let me take a quick look through. So you're just going to show by shading in those equivalent fractions. Okay, so go ahead and show that 1/4 is equal to 2/8 by coloring that in, by shading it. 1/4 is equal to 2/8. Okay, did you shade in on both of those, friends?
Yes.
You colored in what you needed to up here, oops, and here to show that they are equivalent. Okay. Look at 2. Cooper drew these models. He says 2/3, well, he says they show 2/3 equals 2/6. He's not right. So what is it that he did wrong? Do you see what he did wrong? Look at his models. Is there something wrong with his models?
Yes.
So tell me write down. What did Cooper do wrong? Write it down. Class?
Yes.
Some of you are struggling. When we are talking about fractions, equivalent fractions, they have to be the same shape and
Size.
what's wrong with this one? How many parts did he make for this shape?
3.
Did he also do 3 here?
No.
No, what did he do here?
6.
So does he have them split into the same amount of parts?
No.
No, is that his mistake?
Yes.
Yeah, they are not equal parts, are they? So jot that down.
Is this one of you guys' sweatshirts? What are you guys learning? Your 1, 2s, and 3s?
What are we working on?
Fractions.
Equivalent fractions. Okay. Let's look at 3. Now, we're going to have to draw some marks on this number line to show eighths. So how many equal parts are we going to make? 8. They've started it, but they only split it into how many equal parts? 2, right? They split it in half. Okay, so think about this. Do you know what half of 8 is?
Yes.
What is half of 8?
4.
4. So there's where we're going to start. We know that half of 8 is 4. I should have written that up a little higher though. So half of 8 is 4. So 4/8 is our halfway mark. All right. Now, we have to draw the rest of the marks though. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if we split that into 8 equal parts, it says write the fraction it shows above each mark that we make. So what's this fraction going to be? 1 what?
8.
What's our next one?
2.
2/8. Then
3/8.
Then
4/8.
next.
5/8.
After that,
6/8.
the next one.
7/8.
And then what would this last fraction be?
8/8.
Okay. Which eighth is equal to 1/2? Look at 1/2. What's the fraction that is equivalent to it, everybody?
4/8.
Got it? Because I have to clear that to be able to get to the next page. All right, so problem 4 has 2 parts to it. There's this part A and this part B down here, okay? 4 friends each ate a part of their own granola bar. All the granola bars were the same size. See how they're all the same size, whether it's this one or like the actual granola bars there. Meg ate 4/6. So how many parts is her granola bar split into?
6.
6 parts. What is halfway? What's the halfway number of 6? What's half of it?
3.
3. So let's split Meg's bar, her granola bar, into how many equal parts? No, 6. But I know that half of 6 is 3. That makes it easier when I'm trying to make my marks. So I have to make 6 equal marks, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over there. Out of those 6 parts, how many did Meg eat? Meg ate 4/6. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's move on to Joe. Looking up here in the problem, Joe ate how much? 4/8. How many equal parts is his bar broken up into? 8. This denominator tells us it's 8 equal parts. Is there a number that's exactly half of 8?
Yes.
What is that halfway number?
4.
4. So again, let's split our bar in half. So that would be our 4th mark. So we're going to have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do you have 8 relatively equal parts?
Yes.
How many of those 8 did Joe eat?
4.
He ate 4 of them. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Did he and Meg eat the same amount?
No.
Who ate more?
Neither.
Meg did.
Meg.
Okay, now we're going to move on to Beth. Beth ate how much of her granola bar? 6/8. So her bar is broken up into how many equal parts? 8, just like Joe's was. So I'm going to use the same line system that I used for Joe because it's both 8 parts. How many of those 8 did she eat?
6.
6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Have Have any of them eaten the same amount yet?
Yeah.
No, not yet. Okay, we have one friend left, and that is Amy. Amy ate 2/3. So how many equal parts is her bar split into?
3.
3. So we have to split this into 3 equal parts. And how much of it did she eat?
2.
She ate 2/3 of it. Okay. I'll just go black here. 1, 2. All right, so now we're going to get to where we're solving the questions that they ask. Which 2 friends ate the same amount of a granola bar? Can you tell? Which 2 ate the same amount of their granola bars? Raylan? You are correct. Meg and Amy. So let's write those equivalent fractions. What was Meg's fraction? Meg, 4/6. And Amy's fraction? Amy. So 4/6 is equal to 2/3. Okay. Fred, I'm on part B now. Are you with me? Fred divided his granola bar into 4ths. How many equal parts is that? 4ths. 4, right? 4ths tells us it's 4, right? It's right in there. Okay. He ate the same amount as Beth. So if we look at Beth's here, she ate 6/8, but he's dividing his into 4 parts. Label the number line to show how much Beth ate. Draw another number line for Fred's granola bar and mark how he divided his bar. Okay, so they've given us Beth's granola bar on a number line. We're going to make a number line for Fred's granola bar. But his is divided into how many parts?
4.
4 parts. So let's do Fred's number line here. So we have to make sure that our numbers line up. 4 equal parts for Fred's, because it's 4ths. Can 4 be split in half?
Yeah.
What's halfway of 4?
2.
Okay. So this would be 2/4. Okay. What would I think I have those close. What would this fraction be?
1/4.
1/4. We've already did 2/4, so what's this next one?
3/4.
Okay. How much did Beth eat? Beth ate 6/8. So if we look here, 6/8. I didn't line mine up perfectly, but can you see the line that's supposed to be equivalent to 6/8 on Fred's? What should it be? 3/4. So 6/8 equals 3/4. We're going to skip 5. Sound like a good plan? It certainly does to me.
I can take the map now.
All right. So I think that was the rest of lesson 22. So that's probably a good stopping point. We still have a few minutes before lunchtime.